Cohen hearing on Wednesday, Republican members of the House Oversight Committee defended President Trump largely by attacking Cohen, who has admitted to lying to Congress. And no one was more on message than the ranking member of that committee, Jim Jordan.
And you have a history of lying over and over and over again. And frankly, you don't have to take my word for it. Take what the court said. Take what the Southern District of New York said. Cohen did crimes that were marked by a pattern of deception and that permeated his professional life, a pattern of deception for personal greed and ambition. And you just got 30 minutes of an opening statement where you trashed the President of the United States of America.
Republican Congressman Jim Jordan of Ohio joins me now. Congressman Jordan, welcome to Meet the Press.
Good to be with you.
Why do you think President Trump hired somebody like Michael Cohen as this close confidant for a decade?
Mr. Cohen said it was some real estate deal 10, 12 years ago. Why he hired him, I don't know. What I do know is what I said at the hearing, and that is Michael Cohen is going to prison in 2 months for 4 distinct federal crimes, one of which is lying to Congress, and yet the Democrats made him their star witness. Their first announced witness of the 116th Congress is a guy who was going to prison for lying to Congress. And guess what? He came in last Wednesday and did what? Lied to Congress. 6 different times. That's why we sent a letter.
The President of the United States, the lead attorney for him, and essentially unofficial political advisor for a decade, is this person you just described. You just described. Well, we could
even though he took credit for launching the Trump campaign single-handedly.
Does it bother you that Donald Trump surrounded him? It kept this man as a confidant for everything you've described him as. Why did he keep him as a confidant?
You'd have to ask.
Does that bother you?
Not really. Doesn't.
Why?
Just doesn't. What I know is what the president's done is 2 years as president of the United States. The Democrats never want to talk about it. The press never seems to want to talk about this. Think about the 2 years under President Trump's leadership. Taxes reduced, regulations reduced, economy growing at an unbelievable rate, lowest unemployment in 50 years. Gorsuch and Kavanaugh on the court. We're out of the Iran deal. Embassies in Jerusalem. Hostages home from North Korea. And oh, by the way, there's a new NAFTA agreement coming. Just to name a few things. So that's what I tend to focus on is the amazing record we've seen under the leadership of President Trump. And you guys want to talk about a lawyer that worked for him for 10 years that came in and told all kinds of lies, 6 lies which he said on the witness stand just last Wednesday.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe Michael Cohen when he said there was no collusion with Russia?
I believe a few things Michael Cohen said. Like he said in the hearing, my name is Michael Dean Cohen. I believe that. There's probably a few other things that we can prove. He said,
do you believe he's never been to Prague?
He said that, and that's something you can verify. You can look at passports, you can look at travel, so that undermines this whole dossier, which, remember, was the basis for this whole crazy investigation to begin with. So
that's not. I mean, that isn't the facts.
It's a big fact.
It is something that
we've had this debate.
No,
before.
I understand. It's something that you believe, but it has not been proven.
No, it's the lead thing they took to the FISA court to get the warrant to go spy on the Trump campaign. And oh, by the way, it's paid for by the Clinton campaign.
It still never was even proven when you got these papers released to the public. You found out that that wasn't the truth.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And they didn't tell the court that the Clinton campaign paid. Never forget what happened there. The Clinton campaign paid the law firm Perkins Coie, who hired Fusion GPS, who hired a foreigner. And what did that foreigner do? Talk to a couple of Russians.
You left out the Republican donor.
Put this dossier together that our FBI used to go get the warrant to spy on the Trump campaign.
Why do you not want this investigation concluded by Robert Mueller?
I want it concluded. I want it over with, but there's not.
But you continue to question it and interfere with it. So how is it ever going to end if you question it and interfere with it?
I'm not questioning interfere with it. It's going to be public. The president said he wants it to continue. He's allowed it to continue. It's going to continue. At some point, there'll be some investigation. And then the Attorney General, Bill Barr, will decide, will follow the law and release what he wants to release, or maybe release the whole thing. That's going to happen. We all know that.
You want it all completely released? Donald Trump Jr. does.
I'm open to whatever the Attorney General decides. He should follow the law. He should follow the regulations. And if they release it all, I tend to think we should err on the side of transparency. I've been for that all along. I want the FISA applications released. I want the 302s from Bruce Orr. I want all that information released so we can get to the bottom of it. The American people can know exactly what happened when they launched this thing.
Do you believe the Russians interfered with the 2016 election?
Everyone said that they thought they were trying to impact the election.
Do you believe it?
The question Mueller is...
Do you believe it?
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's what the Intelligence Committee has told us, but there is zero
Do you believe
evidence.
They did it to try to help Donald Trump win?
Who knows why they did it, but there is zero evidence.
You think that is possible? It sounds like you believe it's possible that Russians, for their own foreign policy reasons, wanted Trump, not Clinton.
Why would I don't know. I mean, they can do whatever they're trying to do. Who knows what their motives were? What I know is there's not one bit of evidence to show any type of coordination collusion, conspiracy whatsoever between the Trump campaign and Russia to impact the election. But there is all kinds of evidence to show that the Clinton campaign worked with Russians to impact the elections via that whole thing I just described, where they hired the Perkins Coie law firm, who hired Fusion, who hired a foreigner, Christopher Steele, who communicated with Russians and put together the fake dossier.
Why do you think that Donald Trump hired somebody like Paul Manafort with ties to Russian mobsters? Why do you think that Paul Manafort decided to work for free for the Trump campaign?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Does any of that bother you?
But you got to remember, they were doing
ties
this
with the Russian
No, you
government.
gotta
I'm just
remember
asking,
they were doing this
why is none of that? Does that deserve scrutiny?
And it's getting all kinds of scrutiny, for goodness sake. Mr. Manafort's been indicted, so it's getting all kinds of scrutiny.
No, but do you believe it deserves scrutiny?
Well, that's what the special counsel is doing. That's his call, not my call. So yeah, if they're looking at all that, that's fine. But that's not what this Wednesday was about. This was a guy coming in who has zero credibility and who has lied and is going to prison for lying. One of those lies, of course, was lying to Congress previously. And guess what he did? He came in front of Congress and told at least 6 different lies.
You are
about
very
the President
concerned
of the
about
United
a
States.
lot of the lying. Does it bother you that Paul Manafort, George Papadopoulos, Michael Flynn, Michael Cohen, all these people around the president, has all been convicted or pled guilty to
what bothers
lying
me most?
to either investigators or Congress?
Here's what
There's a
bothers-
lot of liars around the president.
Here's
Why?
what bothers me most. Jim Comey, director of the FBI, fired. Andy McCabe, deputy director,
So you're
fired.
upset that he was fired?
No, listen, lied 3 times under oath. Andy McCabe is under investigation. Jim Baker, chief counsel at the FBI, demoted, then left, under investigation by the Justice Department. Peter Strzok, deputy head of counterintelligence, demoted, then fired. Lisa Page, FBI counsel, demoted, then fired.
It
2 of those
doesn't
people
explain
kicked
why
off the Mueller team.
Why does the president surround himself with people who can't
You're
tell the
missing the big-
truth?
you're missing the
you're
most-
not answering my question
You're
about why
missing
does
the
the
biggest
president
problem.
surround himself with people who can't tell the truth to law enforcement or Congress?
When have you ever seen an agency where the top 5 people, who, oh, by the way, Chuck, ran the Clinton investigation, launched and ran the Russian investigation, have either been fired, demoted, or left the FBI? The top people.
Again, you haven't answered the question I asked. Why does the president have surrounded himself with people who cannot tell the truth to law enforcement or Congress?
The president surrounded himself with some people that maybe he shouldn't, I don't know. But when he was running his campaign, Mr. Manafort was there, was part of the campaign. Mr. Manafort had been involved with Republican politics before. Why he selected him, I don't know. What I'm most concerned about is what took place at the highest levels of our committee is supposed to be the Government Oversight Committee. We're supposed to...
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and then click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.